Austraeoh by Imploding Colon, read by Deathlight. Chapter 40, Meeting. We can't survive these attacks much longer, Slaty proclaimed loudly before the gathered assembly of Winthrow. Hundreds of citizens gathered in the wooden downtown courtyard, seated on random barrels, supply crates, wagons, and whatever else could serve as seats. The sparse debris from the previous night's battle still lit the platform in places. To the far side, several ponies and bandages sat in lethargic slumps next to their families and loved ones. Even without the enchanted crystals the ever-faithful Fultrot brings from the Minotaurs to the north, Slaty gestured to the stallion in question. Winthrow simply isn't strong enough to endure the relentless assault of these vital creatures. I care for its citizens whose lives have been entrusted to me by my rightful heir to the head of the council. Day in and day out, I struggle to dredge up more resources from the mines. But my labors and the hard work of my fellow ponies just isn't enough to stop the inevitable. The mist is overrunning the town. Sooner than later, we'll be forced to relocate, or else we'll become the victims of these winged monstrosities. Several ponies murmured in mixed consolation and agreement. Leather-clad bodies shifted about as civilians gave each other worried glances. Fultrot stood up straight, his aged voice forcing the crowd to silence. I still think that the evacuation of Winthrow is the last resort. It means to be able to contact the unicorns who provide the Minotaurs with those crystals. If I can just bridge communications, and win ourselves an uninterrupted supply of enchanted objects, then we may be able to rid ourselves of those creatures for good. And what assurance can you give us of this, Fultrot? Slaty exclaimed with a frown. Just last night, 5 refiners were bruised and injured from the latest attack. We were lucky that none died this time, but it's happened in the past. And what's to say it won't happen again, and again, and yet again while I wait for that goal, however noble, is hypothetical at best. Fultrot had a struggle to speak about the ensuing outburst of angry voices. Your father, and your father's father, and your countless ancestors before him have all lived and died for the sake of maintaining the integrity of this village. He frowned and pointed at the young stallion. Protecting this town is more than surviving a swarm of horrific beasts. It means serving as a backbone to Vendigate's industrial supply. Most esteemed Fultrot, Slaty uttered firmly. There would be no Winthrow worthy of maintaining if all the ponies who live within fell victim to malevolent circumstances. We citizens are strong and courageous by our own hooves alone. Even if Winthrow is to fall, I'm more concerned with the souls that have worked so hard to make it what it is today. And if your concern was legitimate, my wise and goodly son. Hushell's voice rose from the sideline. Every pony murmured anxiously and gazed over to see him, arriving with help with 2 older mares. He stared firmly at Slaty's steed, his nostrils flaring. Then you would have adhered to the hierarchy that has sustained Winthrow for so long. You should have asked my permission before establishing this rather unorthodox council. Just for what? Slaty boldly trotted towards his father, while many of his peers gazed in stunned silence. For you to deny with your insane rituals and unnecessary attention to pretense. Father, ponies are dying. Every day you deny making a bold decision in a new direction is another day this village suffers for it. Your faithful citizens can no longer afford such senility. There are several gasping voices. Hushell glared at his son. Do you forget who you're talking to, Colt? Not in the least. Slaty rested on his back haunches and waved his forearms before the crowd. Do you see these hooves? These hooves have washed themselves in the blood of your brothers and sisters. It's been I, and now your village elder, who has been forced to deal with the carnage of our misfortune up close. I know what it is we're dealing with. I know the loss that strikes grief into the hearts of each and every one of you. Day and night you fight to keep your feelings under the necessity of insane traditions and self-denial. Several ponies shuddered and nestled each other close. As Slaty's speech went on, Omer's wept and Elder Sans glanced at the empty seats beside them. So forgive me for my rudeness, father. Slaty glared at the old grey pony. Forgive me, father, if I held my tongue for so long in the wake of so much death and absurdity, but the time has come for me to grow up. To no longer let the shadow of your rule blind us to the danger that we now face. He pointed up towards the summit, above the cloud-laden village. But so long as our new enemy nestles atop the mountain, we must reevaluate why we're here, and consider finding a new home. They're not nestling atop the mountain. All the ponies gasped and spun to look towards the edge of the courtyard. Rainbow Dash stood next to Gold Petals. Upon the receiving glance of the entire village, she winced and chuckled. That's to say, she ran a hoof over her bandaged neck, gulped, and said, I didn't see any nests when I was up there. Cause, I totally had a look, just minutes before the crazy bat things did their damage. Slither Seed's eyes narrowed. Austraeoh blinked confusedly, and Full Trot? Perhaps? Full Trot was suddenly smiling. He glanced wisely at Slither Seed and Hushtail, before trotting a few steps in Rainbow Dash's direction. The outsider should have a say. Rainbow did a double take. Full Trot stood proudly beside her. An objective opinion may be what this village needs in regards to the most troubling matter. Already our leader and his heir come to an impasse. I say we hear what the question has to say. At that, the first of several smiles began to form across the crowd of earth ponies. Hooves stomped and voices cried out enthusiastically. Gold Petal's bit her lip and hid beneath the shadow of her hood. As for Rainbow Dash, she was glaring at Full Trot. Just what are you trying to do here? She whispered aside at him. I was only observing things. I didn't ask to become Susan B. Any Pony. Do you believe in fate, equestrian? Full Trot murmured back. Fate's boring. You're boring. He smiled. Then I noticed the pony who's in the right place at the right time to spark hope in the crowd. He gestured at the sea of faces, pointing her way. Go on, speak what's on your mind. Rainbow Dash rolled her eyes and stepped towards the crowd. Yeah, this'll be super, she grumbled.